I have been thinking a lot lately about the state of the world and often gone down the rabbit hole of doom scrolling and despair. Can you relate? How do you stay hopeful with everything that is going on? How do you keep believing in a future at all? I have driven myself mad with trying to think my way through by drawing from everything I've learned in textbooks, through research and experience. And then I had a conversation with a friend that shifted everything for me. And it all started with a question. You are listening to the Gentle Wave podcast, a place to remember your own true essence in wild reclamation. My name is Ina Jane, and I'm holding the space for you today. Words to nourish your soul, inspire your mind, and anchor your body in the remembrance that you hold all that you need inside of you. You are already whole. So let's own what we know, let's inspire each other, and let's write new pathways together. My best friend and I, we have these conversations in which we go wherever the moment takes us. We explore the mundane, the universal, we dive into the magical and the everyday. We talk about the ordinary and the extraordinary. I don't feel so free to be myself in any other space. When we step into what we call our space and start talking, we never know where it might lead us. But we know one thing: it is going to be deeply nourishing, inspiring, and wildly wonderful. What I've noticed is that in a space like that, where there is such a deep trust, an embodied sense of safety, and a way to communicate that never loses touch with who we are as a whole human, I don't need to cut parts off of me in order to be acceptable. I don't need to mask how I feel. I don't need to make sense in any particular way. It is a wild space of exploration where anything and everything is welcome. Yes, not just accepted, but truly welcome. For me, that changes everything. For me, that allows me to get in touch with the wild wisdom that lives inside of me. I know it's there at all times, but often I don't know how to access, much less express it. In our conversation today, towards the end, the following question came up that I want to share with you. What if you could have anything you wanted? What if anything you did worked out from this moment onwards? At first there was a surge of fear, a rejection of the idea. Thoughts kept flooding in. That is not realistic. That is not healthy. That is not how life works. Isn't that what makes life worth living? The struggle, the uncertainty? Isn't that what it means to feel alive? Wouldn't it be just boring if you already knew everything would work out? My friend and I, we danced for a while with all these rising emotions and thoughts, and then all of a sudden, it felt like the clouds parted, and I was able to access something that felt like pure truth in my bones. Do you know that feeling? That was it. Although nothing in what I have been taught in the context of this society or world supports this, it felt like I remembered a truth beyond the experiential in that moment. That this state that seems so fantastical to the rational mind, the executive center of our brain that is trained for survival, that this is actually our ground state. Behind all the layers and layers of conditioning, learning, belief systems, and repeated knowledge, the truth is that we are here to succeed. That is actually inevitable, really. that is who we are. We are whole. What we truly desire is already here. It's not a ruse, it's true. Everything that is deeply aligned with us works out. That is the ground state of being human. I know that goes against almost everything we have been taught to believe. And if you feel like turning away now, just know I get it. It feels unsafe to my nervous system too. But once I allowed myself to meet that sensation of truth with curiosity, a calm came over my body, and the words just flowed out with a certainty that amazed me. It felt so obvious. You know how something feels that comes to you suddenly, but once you are aware of it, you feel like you have always known. That kind of feeling. In a world where everything is built around struggle, achieving the distance between where you are and where you want to go, this truth feels insane. And to be completely honest, to a degree life-threatening. Still, I could not shake the feeling that this was it. If this were to be the normal state of being, that we have what we want, that what we do succeeds effortlessly, I could feel how our whole perspective shifts with that. I feel that is when we would truly start growing into the full potential of who we are meant to be as humans. To me, we are not meant to keep ourselves small in a constant state of survival. That is keeping us from our most powerful potential. If we managed as a species to step out of this ongoing state of survival, we could finally truly remember, recognize, and embrace the responsibility of what we are here to do, to thrive. That is when living in harmony with our environment and with each other is no longer a luxury rarely to be had, but the normal state of being. How often do we make choices that harm ourselves or each other, simply out of necessity linked to survival, of lack, of struggle? In a world where we know we have, where we get to be and effortlessly succeed, there is so much more space. Can you feel that? A gift economy doesn't seem like an unreachable goal anymore. It is just embodied generosity. Our full potential begins with having and being, not with reaching and struggling. To me, that is one of the biggest lies we have invested in and cultivated as humans, creating a system of abuse, exploitation, where the fundamental human qualities are applauded as rarities. If all of that were to fall away because we are in a state of abundance, that's where it all begins, where our full potential unfolds, where we get to experience what we are truly capable of in the best possible ways. From that place of embodied abundance, trust and safety, we get to bloom in ways we only rarely get to experience in the context of the societies we are living in today, where the badge of honor is awarded to whoever has the strongest story of overcoming adversity, struggling the most. We are even scared of a state of having, afraid that that might not be acceptable, that it will lead to laziness, slacking off, not being valuable, maybe even not feeling alive anymore. What opened up to me in that conversation with my friend today was a vision. It was words exchanged in a safe and trustworthy space where I got to tap into a vision of a world in which being kind to yourself, offering what you have to give with generosity and without expectation, where unconditionality is a real experience and not just an abstract concept, where what is right in front of you in this moment, the quality you bring to this moment right here, and whatever you do, is of the highest value. not what you are striving towards, not what you are trying to reach. I can feel it in my bones, the avenues of knowledge, wisdom, possibility that are opening up in a space like that, where the pressures of survival are taken out of the equation, where natural abundance is the state of being. It really, really reminded me that it is our disconnection to our inner voice of truth, that constant tensed up state of our being and body that only has us tap into a very, very small range of what is possible. And yes, we will come up with extraordinary things with our backs against the wall in visceral survival mode. That is true. Force can push us forward as well. But I can feel in my bones that we are only ever scratching the surface of what we are able to do, invent, be, by keeping ourselves tied to this state of tension. So just for a moment, let your imagination go there. What if you could have anything you wanted? What if anything you did worked out from this moment onwards? Allow yourself to, just with playful curiosity, sit in that question for a while. Join our conversation, and if you feel like it, let me know in the comments what comes up for you, how that makes you feel, and what it opens up inside of you. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Gentle Wave podcast. I hope it lands in between the pages of your life as nourishment and inspiration. We are here to be wild. We need you. We need your perspective. We need you making sense in and of this world in your very own way. That, to me, is the true revolution, right here in the heart of ourselves. A powerful wave rooted in the softening of our very relationship with ourselves, weaving soul circles into our bodies. Thank you for your presence on this wild human ride. Until next time, I wish you a journey of playful curiosity and wild ease.